Maybe.
No, it's the internet.
Well, that is true.
Sure.
I love the internet.
Oh, is this your 1 gig?
No, I don't know what they gave us. I really don't.
Are you live now?
No, it'll say.
It's trying to go live. But...
Hey, no.
Are you streaming this on AVNation?
Come on, baby. Oh, there he goes.
All right.
All right. I'm Tom Albright. This is Joel St. Dennis, and this is the AVNation Daily Wrap-Up from ISE 2020. I guess this is day zero.
Day zero.
Day zero.
Hasn't started.
No, and if you, we're in the middle of, in between Hall 1 and Hall 2. You guys are in Hall 1.
Yep.
Again, you've been there for years. You guys, thankfully, and very graciously have given us a video wall for this year, so doing in setting it up. But this is, you guys have over the last couple of years evolved your fine pitch LEDs,
Yes,
right? You kind of reimagined the micro tiles last year.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
as we were kind of going into ISE tomorrow, and tomorrow at 10 o'clock local time, roughly 4 o'clock Eastern, a ton of announcements will be had. Sure. Right. I'm not going to add.
Second generation of the Crimson projector. It's basically a 30,000 lumen we had before. Now we have a 31,000 lumen model. So it's the second revision of HD. Christie's always done that in the past for most of our products. We're showcasing it in our booth in conjunction with some other software. And essentially be taking advantage of the Crimson to do, I don't know if you've heard of Mystique.
Yes.
Crimson. So
big fan of Mystique.
Yeah, so Mystique's been around for a long time. It's actually one of the products that I manage at Christie. And one of the things that we announced a few years ago is Crimson, which is basically an invisible pattern. So we've combined that with Guardian, which does the invisible pattern. So we've combined Guardian, Crimson, and Mystique.
All into one.
All into one. But what we're doing that's a little bit different this year than we've done in the past. We've always shown blended projectors and how if you move one, it'll snap back or so on. So this year we thought we have a really cool application where imagine you have a single projector, you want to keep content on the wall because you have specific content you want in certain places. So we've created a display where we have multiple images in frames, if you will. And then we're going to encourage people to come up and move the Crimson 31K.
Yep.
It's pretty heavy, but we got a table that allows you to slide it. And then it's going to basically move the images out of the frames, and then within like 10 seconds, they snap back. So as long as it's not moved to the point where there's no light, you're always going to have the image snapping back with an invisible pattern. So it's pretty cool. That's going to be pretty neat.
Well, one of the things, one of the applications actually, the first time I saw that happen, it was here at ISE a couple of years ago. I'm from St. Louis.
Yeah.
Big Blues fan, big hockey fan. Yeah, you won the Stanley Cup.
Congrats.
And I got the opportunity to talk with a couple of your product managers, the folks that actually work on ice projection. That's one of the applications, though, because you've got double stack projectors. It depends on the arena that you're in. The Bulls, I think, United Center in Chicago, I believe, have 6 double stacks, so 12, right?
Yeah.
There's
on some that have 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've got they're double stacks, and so you're already having to match those.
Exactly.
Any sort of building movement.
Exactly.
Right? The tech has to go in and recalibrate and readjust, and stuff like this helps that.
Exactly.
In addition to that, also in museum applications, again, where you've got a permanent install, any sort of building movement like that will cause the projectors to kind of get out of line.
Exactly, like theme parks where they have a lot of vibrations from rides going out, where their stuff can go out of alignment. You can always do it at the end of the day when you have your downtime. With the advantage of the Guardian piece is it can correct it live.
Right there.
Yeah, and it's automated, so that's nice. So that's one of the things we are launching, essentially the new models of the Crimson. We have the European debut of some panels that we have. We have a couple of new 98-inch panels that.
The ones that you showed at InfoComm.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they've been launched, but it's their European debut here. So we've got 2 of them in the booth underneath our main sort of area where we're basically taking as the booth is being basically played back through Pandora's box, and then we have Terra that's feeding the video to all of the stations. We have a couple cool things. One of the things that we've been doing at Christie for a long time is many years, instead of just showing screens and projectors, we try to do, applications, things that you might actually see. So we have a 3D projected tree trunk with 4 HS series 20K projectors that we're basically doing a 360-degree projection map on. And then we've partnered with a company called Looplight, who's created the content for us, and there's an augmented reality piece. So you can come in the booth and see this 3D projected map tree, and then we're going to have some tablets around that you can take, and as you look at the tablet, you look at the tree, you're going to actually see it has foliage and leaves that are augmented reality.
Very nice.
So yeah, so basically that demo is a combination of a whole bunch of our products working together, which is cool. And finally, one of the things that we have that's really neat too to get people's attention and come and see what Pandora's Box can do. We have the Pandora's Box Grand Prix. We have like a large, racetrack essentially, which has motion tracking, and we're encouraging people to come in and see what we can do. And the whole thing was programmed with Widget Designer.
Very nice.
We're going to be giving prizes every day for the top 3 and so on. So it's going to be pretty cool. We're doing something really cool with Microtiles LED. As you know, it's been around for a while. We're going to wait for the announcements to go on tomorrow on that, but we feel we have one of the best solutions. Something we've done with Microtiles is going to be really cool to see tomorrow. So encourage people to come and check it out. They're going to be pretty impressed, I think, with what they're seeing.
Very good. All right, you guys are in Hall 1. If somebody's not here and they're watching us stream, they're watching in the States, and they want to connect with either you or somebody else at Christie, how do they do that?
So best thing is to go on the Christie website, www.christiedigital.com, and there's a form you can fill out to get contacted if you want to, or you can always email me directly. It's joel.saintdenis@christiedigital.com. Ask any questions.
Very good. Thanks, Joel, so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thanks a lot.
Joel St. Denis from Christie. As Joel gets off of here, the next young man that I'm going to bring on here is the 2019 AVNation AV. Is that what we called you? The AVNation Professional, the AV Professional of the Year. Here, let me help you, AV Professional. Good Lord.
Hold on, I should be able to put on a mic. I was trying to make the little Shure thing stand out.
You know what you need?
What?
You need your Joe's Joe.
I mean, I'm wearing the sweater. I realized that. I'm like, is he going to bring it up?
How are
Hey,
you doing?
I'm doing great.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's quite an honor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome just because it says so much more, less about me, but more about my team.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who do. I sit at a desk, they do the work.
Yeah.
I just get
Well, you're the
to
boss.
do this stuff. So it's really just an honor for them, and so I'm happy.
You guys did a
It's
good
an
job,
honor.
and seriously, well deserved. You have. I got connected to Joe. I guess about a year and a half ago. You had started chiming in on and contributing to our buddy Chris Netto's AV in the AM. Your book came out from your PhD, Producing Worship. Fantastic book, and if you are involved in the worship house of worship in any way, shape, or form, I would suggest you get that.
I agree. Buy 100 copies.
Of course you.
You know what? Tell 100 of your closest friends.
Okay. Yeah, he has a kid that went to college. So, but you also you've got your own podcast, your higher ed podcast. You helped found HETMA, the Higher Education Technology Association. You are helping to give back to the community, and that's why I think that speaks to more about you're giving back, and I think the community itself recognizes that. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like, to me, there's a point in your career where you're kind of done doing it for you and you see the next generation coming up.
Yeah.
And that's been the great thing about being in higher ed, kind of moving from owning my own business, doing it myself, working in live production, to moving into higher ed. You realize I have an entire generation that I get to invest in, and then seeing that within my staff and be able to help grow them, and then the industry as a whole. And that was the one thing I didn't even know when I started, the Higher Ed AV podcast. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to do this because I'm now in an industry I don't know anyone. If I talk to one person a week, on 50 weeks, I'll know 50 people, right?
Exactly.
But I had no idea it would start to blossom. And now it would start to create the community, which is then what HETMA came out of, and being able to continue that and say, hey, wait a minute, not only can we have a voice in the industry, but we also have a very unique community and very unique needs that we get so, and so it just gives us that opportunity to kind of come together, and for me to invest back and just start giving back.
Well, and honestly, it comes to a tribal knowledge also, because the one thing, I'm a former tech manager years ago. In connecting with folks, you're able to say, you know what, these are my issues, right? This is what I'm having an issue with. And you may not have it, but our buddy Scott Tyner, right, up in Maine, may have absolutely had it, right? And he's like, well, try this and this and this, and let me know if that works for you, right? And then he's going to have an issue that you can help with, right? And so it is a tribal knowledge of helping everybody else out in the same, who's in the same kind of situation.
Absolutely. And that's what makes it unique. And there are other organizations that do that great within higher ed, but it's just kind of that opportunity to kind of, I always think it's a virtual hanging out at a conference here, right? We're meeting up afterwards, but we can really do that all the time with one another and be able to, like you said, that tribal knowledge, what's going on, what are my issues, and how have you solved it? And I think that's the thing, is can you have those conversations without, if I have a question about a control system, I guarantee you I can get a bunch of sales reps calling me.
Yes.
But it's much different if I can actually find an institution that's similar to mine, has faced those challenges, and I can say, okay, what did you try? What did you do? What were the positives, negatives? And then when I decide, how can you help me and get that done? Because we're all in it for the same reason.
Yep.
And so I think that's a huge difference, and a big difference in our vertical too.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about the fact that you're here.
I am here.
In Amsterdam.
I made it.
Well, there's that too.
44 hours door to door.
So let's talk about that for a second, because not for nothing, but there have been a couple of challenges this year with ISE. The first one, not, and this is not downplaying it in any way, shape, or form. The coronavirus is a significant issue. There are a number of companies that have pulled out. They have decided not to come. The most recent was Midwich, decided not to show. It's a distributor here. Actually, they just bought Staring, so they're here, both here and there. LG decided not to show. There are some folks who are not sending certain executives. They still have product here. Folks from other parts are coming, but folks who are stationed in Southeast Asia are not. They're not traveling. They're not doing business travel right now. Great for them. Keep your people safe. You're in LA. You're a long way from home.
It's a very long way from home.
So first, talk about your trek, because not only did we have the coronavirus, we also had significant storms here in Europe that were grounding people. Folks like our buddy Brock McGinnis is still in Canada trying to get here. Ended up in Norway, Oslo, Norway.
Because who doesn't want to stop off in Norway?
Exactly.
Right?
So talk about the trials and tribulations to even get here.
Yeah, you know what? It's crazy because you're already thinking that you have a long trek to just kind of hop across the pond, and then next thing you know, they're saying, "Hey, we might not land." I was supposed to just go London, puddle jump over.
Yeah.
And Twitter blew up about where people are doing in the stories that they couldn't land planes because of 60, 70 mile an hour winds.
Yep.
And they're diverting people everywhere. Every single airport is closing within the area here.
Yep.
And you see how many people are being affected by that. And I know some people that are even just in the UK who messaged me that I was supposed to hook up with, who said, "Hey, I'm not coming because I can't even just get there. By the time I do, I'm turning around going home." Yeah. And so it's a little bit of a bummer, because that's kind of a reason to come all the way over here, is to meet with colleagues who wouldn't necessarily come my way for Infocom or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that brings up the next question: is why did you decide to come to ISE this year?
I guess it's a couple-fold, maybe threefold. One, it's the last Amsterdam, right? And just being honest, it's a lot cheaper to come to Amsterdam than Barcelona from the States. Yep. So it makes it a lot easier to justify being able to come here. There's the kind of the thing. It's Amsterdam, ISE. You have to do it.
You have to do it.
But also, I think now being at my new institution at SC, we're working on a lot of big projects. And where else can I actually have every single player be here?
Yeah.
And I also think the timing works better if you're going to compare it, because, would love Infocom. It's like my favorite thing. Thing is, in June, we've already decided what we're doing in summer. So the timing of this for, as a tech manager, gives me that opportunity to actually see and play and get engineers together from different companies, and then also now see, okay, what is it I'm actually putting in a few months, assuming it all ships.
Well, that's the thing you are I think the fourth or fifth tech manager that I've just ran into. You obviously, I knew that you were coming, but there have been 3 or 4 that I just kind of run into through the course of bouncing around Amsterdam for the last couple of days. One was in my hotel Sunday afternoon. He's a tech manager out of Emory, down in Georgia, and so I just find it fascinating that not only are integrators from the States coming, and that has been increasing year over year, but also now tech managers for those very reasons, right?
Yep.
It's the first big AV show of the year. There were over 200. I think Mike Blackman said there was 2 reasons, right?
Yep.
It's the first big AV show of the year. There were over 200. I think Mike Blackman said there was 250 new product announcements last year, right? And that has grown every year. So it's a good possibility we're going to see 250 to 300 this year. So you get requests.
Exactly, and this is the perfect opportunity to do that. And what like Scott Tyner said on the EdTech podcast. So my favorite one. Sadly, my favorite one isn't even my own; it's yours. But
it's not mine. It's
well,
Bill's.
Is that we are in-house integrators,
Yes.
right? So to say, well, it's shocking that a higher ed tech manager would come. Well, maybe it would be shocking if an IT guy from a random company came, but not necessarily us who have staffs bigger than a lot of integrators in our area, who have resources and budget line items as big as budgets of an entire integration company in our area. And so, and I always wonder if you take the lead institutions and you rank them in the in the top
SAN
50,
top 50,
right? How many would actually make the list?
There would be a couple.
And I think that says a
not my
lot.
little Lewis and Clark Community College, just for the record. But you,
I don't know that we would, but there are some definitely out there that
Boston
would.
College,
Boston College, UNLV.
UNLV, yeah.
I mean, the things that they're doing is just
Oh
incredible.
my gosh, yeah.
So I think that says a lot just about who we are. And again, why? Because we need to have the same conversations as other integrators are with the manufacturers. And then vice versa, all the integrators we work with are also sending their people. So where else can I get them together with the engineers, with everything?
And everybody kind of talk together.
And now you're sitting here and it's not, just a bunch of random email strings. It's actually everyone in a room and having that conversation.
Makes sense. All right. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
On the AVNation.
Thank you very much.
The AV Person of the Year. If somebody wants to get a hold of you or follow you, how do they do that?
You can find me on Twitter, all social media is at Josiah Way, and of course the podcast Higher at AV.
All right, and also follow his people, Joe's Joe, because it is a highlight. Highlight of my.
You're just gonna make their day.
Absolutely. I want they deserve it, man. They're freaking awesome. I love those. I don't even know who they are. I know I like them
it's
already.
Jimmy and Lex. I'm gonna let Lexi and Jimmy are it. It's not me.
Jimmy and Lexi, thank you very much for everything that you do. I at least appreciate it. At least one person. He may not appreciate it, but I appreciate it. So thank you so much. Seriously, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to hang out with this guy all week. My name is Tim Albright. You can catch us here every single day. Not kidding. 5:30 local. So if my math is correct, which is always suspect, that is roughly 11:30 Eastern time, so 10:30 Central. So my wife can watch me at home at 10:30 in the morning. So you find us every day here at that time, except on Friday because the show ends at 4 o'clock local time. So we'll be doing it at 3:30 local, which again is 2 hours earlier. So that would be 9:30 Eastern. So thank you all so much. Have a great day. Thanks to all of our sponsors and supporters who help us bring you ISE. Today's daily wrap up.